Ricken Financial presents Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement. Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost want to help you reach the retirement you deserve. Let's build a strategy that gives you the confidence while meeting your financial wants and needs. Meet the team at rickenfinancial.com. Now, Kickin' with the Rickens.
Appreciate you subscribing to Kickin' with the Rickens, Redefining Retirement. rickenfinancial.com for more information. My name is Mark Owens. Jerry Ricken, Heidi Ricken Provost. How are y'all doing?
Fab.
Hey, it's a beautiful day, Mark. How about you?
So we're in it now. Like, calendar turns to summer in June. So do y'all have like a big family vacation planned? But do y'all take family vacations together, or do you do your own separate thing, or do you always have to have something on the
We
books?
actually do take a family vacation together, but we're trying to figure out when that's going to be this year because
Yes.
we've had some scheduling issues, some scheduling conflicts. So it's not.
And we also need to figure out if we can take vacation and not kill each other in a car because this one here can't fly right now.
Oh, your eye.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
When's that going to be
That's
lifted?
right. Hopefully in a few weeks.
Yeah.
So
Whenever his gas bubble decides to leave his eye.
My
Yeah.
and I don't have to wear my little bracelet with my little emergency thing on it that says warning gas bubble.
You know, we're about.
But I do have to say, it feels like summer already here
Yeah.
because we have cicada apocalypse.
Yes,
Is it happening?
We do.
Oh.
It's been happening for quite some time. It's deafening, but only half of them have presented themselves. The other half are soon to emerge. We have and this happens every 221 years in St. Louis.
We
have the 17-year and the 13-year happening at the same time.
Down here in Atlanta, we're getting them, but it's not that bad. Did you see the viral video of some fans at a baseball game? They're like, well, I'm not going to pay $8 for a hot dog. So they were eating live cicadas.
I did not see that. Obviously, they paid a lot for their $10. I mean, they bought a lot of $10 beers before that happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because even though they wouldn't pay for the hot dog, they paid for the beers.
I did hear on the radio the other day, apparently you can cook cicadas the same way you would cook and eat a shrimp. So there are people in the world that eat them.
Popcorn cicadas.
You put honey mustard on anything and I'll probably eat it. So if it could be a cicada or a grasshopper.
Protein.
I mean, I'll try anything once. You're not wrong, actually.
But you know, that's actually kind of leads us into our topic this week here, talking about risk. But it's not the risk that we normally talk about when customizing a financial plan. It's a little bit different, Heidi.
Oh, absolutely, because we're exposed to so many risks in our life. And for whatever reason, when you sit down in a financial planning meeting, most people out there only cover one. And so we can beat market risk till it's black and blue, because market risk is obviously a very large risk that every single person plans for when they're meeting with a financial planner. But that is only one risk that we plan for, because yes, the market can go up and down and anything can happen, but there are so many other risks that we're exposed to in our retirement lives. So that's just the beginning of the conversation with us. You know, every single financial planner that you're working with should be doing a risk analysis to see what your market risk is. And that's your baseline for what you want to have invested at risk of principal loss in the market and protected from principal loss outside of the market. But that's the first risk.
The beginning.
Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg here.
That's just the beginning. We believe the largest risk we have out there is longevity risk.
Mm-hmm.
The reason we believe that is because the longer you live, the longer you're going to be exposed to different kinds of risks. And market risk is just one of those exposures, because the market does go up and down. The market crashes. A lot of people forget 2001, 2007, 8, because in 22. So a lot of people forget that because we have a short-term memory. Oh my gosh, the market's going up. It's great. It's great. It's great. But the longer you live, we know that there's going to be a correction in the future, and you're going to be exposed to that.
And I'll also tell you, the people who were fully exposed to market risk during those points in time, they remember it. They remember 2001, too. They remember 2007, 8, because if you were fully exposed and on the brink of retirement or just beginning your retirement, I can guarantee you every single person who was fully exposed then will remember those dates, because that's the point in time you don't have the time to recover.
That's exactly right. The closer you are to retirement, the harder it is to recover.
So as we're talking about risk this week here on Kicking with the Rickens, is there a certain age where it's okay to be a little more risky? And we're going back to investments and stuff like that. And is there a certain age where you shut down risk, where you say, listen, here's where we're at right now. You're done. You're at the age now where we're done being risky. Now we're just trying to build upon your gains.
That's going to change based upon every single person's financial situation. But I would say if you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement and you're fully 100% exposed to market risk, you do.
And market risk just doesn't mean just stocks. A lot of people have that misconception. They think I'm a conservative investor because I'm invested in bonds. Well, when the market crashed in 2008, stocks and bonds both went down. There was no longer an inverse relationship when stocks go up, bonds go down, and vice versa. Both of them hit the floor. Right. So we talk about
market risk
that.
For us in our eyes is anything that is invested in a market. So that is invested in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds,
variable annuities.
Yeah, exactly. Variable annuities that are invested in the market. Blockchain, there's a lot of different facets of market risk within all of those. But you're at risk of principal loss. So that's market risk for us. In order to not be at risk of principal loss, you need to be invested outside of the market.
You mentioned something off the air too. You said that we also have to talk about lifestyle risk as well.
Oh, I took a big risk this week, actually, because my husband and myself, we went to an outdoor concert, and it was supposed to begin at 7 p.m. And we got a notification from Ticketmaster at 6:30 that the concert had begun because they were attempting to get it in before the weather. And so
there was tornadic activity in the area.
Potential tornadic.
Yeah.
So 3 songs in with the opener, they were like, "Thanks, have a great night." And the headliner came on, and we all went to go see the opener. We didn't even. I had never heard of the headliner before. I went to see the opener, and they had 3 songs.
What bands were
Judah
these?
and the Lion.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And who was the headliner?
Need to Breathe. And by the way, they put on a great show on the rescheduled date. But anyway, so we're there, and Need to Breathe is in the middle of their 3rd song, and all of a sudden they cut the sound, lights come on, they say, "Sorry, there's lightning in the area. Everyone needs to evacuate immediately." So we make it to our car, but that quagmire when every single person's trying to leave a concert?
Yes.
We were sitting in the car for a half hour, so the weather had hit by the time we were leaving. And as we go to pull out, Stephen couldn't even see. It was raining so hard. So we just pulled into the parking garage of the casino, which was right next to the amphitheater we were at.
Yeah.
And we people watched in the casino because I had taken enough risk that evening. And I don't risk my funds in a casino, but I love to people watch.
So you were double risking that day, the risk of being in an outdoor concert and then the risk of going into a casino and giving them. So it's a little 1-2 punch for you. Let's talk about that for a second. If somebody says that I'm okay with setting aside funds to be risky at a casino, what's your response to those conversations?
Good for you, because as long as we plan for it, you can take any risk that you want to take. You just have to have a plan in place.
Yeah, it's part of your entertainment budget.
Oh, absolutely. And when we are taking a look at all of the risks you're going to be exposed to in your retirement lives, we really begin with the risk of living. And that is, like Jerry said, your longevity risk. The longer you live, the more risks you're going to be exposed to. So, years ago, AARP has been doing this study every single year to see what is the biggest fear that retirees have. And it used to be that they're going to pass away. And now the fear is, I'm going to live too long, because everyone's afraid that they're going to live and outlive the funds behind them for their lifestyle. And that's a legitimate fear to have if you don't have a plan in place to meet the other risks that are going to be associated with your financial future, beyond longevity and market risk. You got to look at the taxation. How are taxes going to fall into your financial future? How's inflation going to affect you? How are healthcare risks going to affect you? And legislative, which could also change all of those other risks as well. So,
so show of hands right now, who thinks taxes are going down in our lifetime?
Crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. No one has their hand raised. That's so crazy.
But that's a true risk. It's a true risk. And we know under current tax law, the tax rates are going to go up on January 1st of 2026. So we need to plan for that. And what's our plan for that? And what's our plan for things like what you mentioned, legislative risk? Well, if we don't change legislation on Social Security, the trustees report just came out on May 6th of this year. And it says that 79 cents on the dollar will be paid in 2033. So what's our risk? Our risk is legislation doesn't get passed to cover that.
Yeah.
So we just don't know. We're not in control of a lot of these things, Mark. So what we need to do is put ourselves in control and control as much as we can and plan for the things that we know or we can speculate that may happen in the future, just so we have a plan.
Well, and you were just mentioning tax risk. There's a very specific tax risk that usually affects retirees, and that is one of your spouses is probably going to predecease you.
Yeah.
If you're in a marriage right now, and that tax risk is great because a lot of people, it's a common misconception. A lot of people think that when your spouse passes away, your taxes are going to go down. But going from a married filing jointly tax return to a single one and all the different caveats that hit you tax-wise in retirement, like your tax on your Social Security benefits, your IRMA, the amount that you pay on your Medicare premiums. There are so many different facets of taxation to a retiree that can affect you stronger when you have one person covering the taxable income for the family.
Right. And then we look at inflation. Inflation wasn't really an issue until a few years ago. Then all of a sudden, bam, it hit us like a ton of bricks. And then you hear, inflation's going down, but that doesn't mean the cost of everything that has been inflated is going down. It just means that the cost is the price of things is starting to, the increase of the price of things is starting to slow, but the prices are still high because so you have to plan for that. I mean, what was it the other day? I said someone said, my gosh, I think I'm getting a lot stronger because I can now carry $100 worth of groceries and I couldn't a few years ago.
That's a great line.
Why do we all do that? Every single person, when you get home from the grocery store, you try to carry every single bag at once. Why do we do that?
Because I can.
Trip.
So
that's right.
Before we wrap things up here on Kicking with the Rickens, RickenFinancial.com, we've talked a lot about risk here. If somebody wants to come talk to you, do you offer like a risk analysis, a risk assessment? Can you take a look at our portfolio and see how do you offer something specific to the families you serve?
We absolutely do. All of our plans are offered complimentary, and we do a retirement you deserve plan, which covers each of these risks. So we're going to start with longevity. The longer you live, the more risk you're going to be exposed to. So we have a discussion and we plan through age 100. If you live beyond 100, hopefully one day I'll have an heir that can help plan for you if you're like in your 40s now or something.
Right.
Because we may not be around, but we're going to plan for age 100. And then we take a look at that market risk and we do the risk tolerance with you.
We look at the tax risk.
Yeah, we plan out all of your taxes for the future as today's tax rates are written. And then we also make a plan with a tax map to see, is there anything you can do to reduce your exposure to taxation in the future?
And we also look at inflation and we build inflation factors in so that we can keep up with inflation with our income planning.
And then the big one, we look at healthcare too. So, we actually just had this conversation right before this meeting with a couple, and we said, if you need some form of long-term care, what kind of care would you want? And they had never discussed it. So, that's something we need to take a look at, and we need to have a plan in place for coverage, no matter what that plan is. But it's a risk that all of us are exposed to. I mean, we saw this in our own lives recently. Jerry was exposed to a healthcare risk, and, you need to have a plan in place through your working life and your retired life to take care of those unexpected healthcare costs.
I love how you said the retirement you deserve plan. RickenFinancial.com, more information about that retirement you deserve plan. And speaking of risk, is there like a subset, maybe the fine print where you have the risk of a gas bubble behind your eye?
Now we do.
Just curious if that's written into
we
the
certainly
plan.
do. We certainly do. And
we do now.
I hope that no one out there experiences that risk. Believe me.
Yes.
Well, risk is more than just market risk. It's life risk. It's Social Security. It's risk in taxes as well. And the Retirement You Deserve plan from the team at Ricken Financial will cover all the bases when it comes to risk. Again, RickenFinancial.com. Get more information in the show notes. Guys, thanks so much for the information and the education. Finish this for me. Every day
is a holiday.
Life is short.
Laugh hard.
Thanks so much for listening and subscribing. This has been Kicking with the Rickens, redefining retirement.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Rickens Financial LLC. Rickens Financial LLC is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Rickens Financial LLC are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Rickens Financial LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during the show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Rickens Financial LLC.
Please remember that converting an employer plan account to a Roth IRA is a taxable event. Increased taxable income from the Roth IRA conversion may have several consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA.